Hi, I'm Jun Li. I'm presenting Queer Panorama this year in Banilale.
Hi, welcome to the Teddy TV. My name is Zsombor Bobák, and this time we are talking about the film Queer Panorama. Hi, welcome to the Teddy, welcome to the Berlinale. Thank you so much for taking the time for us. Maybe let's just start with the point of departure for this project. When did you start working on it, and how did the idea came about?
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me. And the start of this project, it began in 2020, and it was the beginning of the pandemic. It was about our relationship, the relationship between my partner and I, and because it's an open relationship, so it's also about the people that we met outside of our relationship. And because it was agreed that we would tell others that we are open, so we're partnered, and that is how we work on our open relationship. So we would talk about our partner in front of the people that we have sex with. So it's like a figure that is not there, but the other person would imagine how what this person looks like, or what this person feels like. So it started because we lived in different city back then. He moved up to New York City, and I was doing Hong Kong, and because we live apart, so we talk about our partner in front of our friends, but then the partner never appears together.
Yeah.
So there was one time when I went to his friend's party, and then the friend was like, "Oh, the boyfriend was real." Then then he was offended because I'm real, and then but someone thought that I was an imagined figure, and it didn't occur to me that someone would think that our relationship wasn't real, because to me it was very real. But because we talk about each other a lot, but we spend so little time together.
Yeah.
Especially during the pandemic, it was a year and a half that we were apart in different city, because the quarantine measure in Hong Kong was very tough.
Yeah.
So it was a very long time throughout. Now we've been together for 10 years, almost, but it was 1.5 years back then. It felt so long. So the idea came about when I want to narrate our relationship in that way, that we believe in us so much, but the others didn't think that as real as we thought, and it made us question about the existence or the realness of our relationship too, but also how we navigate this relationship in today's world, in this very turbulent, chaotic environment that we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting to see that this main character, who is at the center of the film and who moves from date to date and meets more and more people, that how you kind of feel that it's a character-driven film, but then it's like multiple characters, and actually the protagonist, who is at the center of it all, remains very elusive as a person. Can you talk a little bit about this dynamic in the film regarding centering this character who is very elusive in the center, and then all of these people around them, who they meet, who then bring out very different stories and very different life experiences.
Well, it's a film about hookups, really. What we do in that very short amount of time. And we see this character moving around, taking other people's identity because he does not necessarily want to reveal too much of himself. And that was kind of like me, but that is out of a practical reason, actually, because I'm one of a few gay directors in Hong Kong, and the people that I meet outside of our relationship are mostly foreigners.
Okay.
Because I don't want to get asked about question about my job.
Yeah.
It's I don't want to talk about that a lot outside of work, because people are very interested in knowing the people that I work with.
Yeah, I see.
So I just randomly tell people things, and it's the easiest to pick up from the person I just met before because I remember.
Yeah.
And so it was just a thing that I do, and then I thought about it in the story and thought it was interesting to structure it in the way the film is now. But then we also have to think about the things that the main character does outside of these encounters, because I need to create an adventure, a storyline, a series of events to put all these things together. But then when I was writing, I was like, I don't actually have much to do in my daily life. I spend most of my time working on set, on films, on pre-production, post-production. And I don't really have much of a life besides film. That was when I was writing this thing. I spent a lot of time alone, and I spent a lot of time hookup. I don't really go party anymore. I read a lot. I spend most of my time writing. And then that's how I portray the character, because that is it. And I don't think that is an uninteresting daily life. I love that.
Yeah, I understand. Nice. Let's talk a little bit about the visuality of the film. It's in very nice black and white. Can you tell us a little bit about what material did you shoot on, and what were the most important aims for you when you visually created this world in which the film takes place?
We shot on a Sony camera. It's like the cheapest film camera that you can use. And it is in black and white because I want to portray the male body in its most aesthetic way. And I think it's most expressive in this way. And also because I'm colorblinded, I hate that when I'm making a little more commercial films before, I hate that that was the part when I'm not confident in. And because this film is very niche anyways. So I want to use a medium that I feel most expressive. And that is the picture that you see now. And I want to situate the two characters in a space, because I think the space reveals so much of one person's identity. Because when we do hookups, we go to some stranger's living space, and from that space you can tell a lot about that person. And that's why the camera shoot the scenes this way now in the film, because I want to see how these two people interact inside a space that one is familiar with and the other one is discovering new things every second when he is engaging in this sexual
Yeah.
activity and engaging in this conversation. So I think the interior space of the scenes is very important. So that's why the film is shot in this way.
Yeah, so this is why you use so many wide shots, because it was also interesting in that way, looking at it, that it creates some sort of a distance to the characters on screen and between the viewer. And I was wondering if that was intentional from your part. But you said that, yeah, it was mostly to see in the interior how they interact.
Yes, the distance was not intentional. It was told to me after I shot the film when I asked advice from, they told me, oh, it's a little bit distant. But I didn't think that way throughout my shoot. I really didn't think that way. Maybe I am too invested in these characters. They're so familiar. I didn't think the framing of it would create a distance for the audience, but a lot of people said that to me. And then also my costume designer, actually, she told me it is actually a good thing because you are writing a very personal story, and this distance gives you the distance that you need to look at this relationship, to look at this character that is portraying essentially you. So that gives you the ideal distance for that. And so you don't get... I didn't know about that, but throughout when I was writing this story, it's like, is this self-obsession? But she thinks this distance is a perfect distance because you're sharing something very deeply personal and intimate, but then you see it from that camera point of view.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm sure that for you as a filmmaker, that when it's such a personal story, it can be even unintentionally and subconsciously like a helpful thing to do that. So yeah, I think probably there is some truth to that. But in a way, as a viewer as well, you can work with that distance, you know, especially when you think about how these characters also try to gap some sort of a distance between each other, and when you try to think about how the question of intimacy and the difficulty of connecting with others is underlining the whole film, then it also becomes in a way a helpful tool to feel that kind of difficulty. But maybe you can elaborate a little bit on these questions of intimacy and connection that are so central to the film.
I think that is a part of gay situationship, gay friendship that is not explored enough in film, because in this day and age, a lot of us have different sex partners. We also would have a more stable long-term relationship partner, and that is becoming the norm. And how this sort of relationships how do I say that? They're different kind of relationships. Yeah. But there is not one relationship that is like more more sacred than the other.
Mm.
Because even with a person that you only would meet one time in your life, we leave something to each other. And the way that the script is structured, so he takes on some part of the conversation, some part of the identity from the previous person, and then he keep that inside of him. That is like more of a metaphor
Yeah.
of our gay friendship, because we leave something
Yeah.
inside another person, literally or metaphorically.
Yeah,
So
sure.
and that kind of gay friendship is. We also would have certain feeling of jealousy, of possession,
Right.
but also that is also part of the film. But also the comfort and the kindness that we leave for each other
Yeah.
is valid too.
Absolutely.
So I think that is the part of the intimate relationship that I want to explore the most in this film.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned the structure of the film, which I thought was very exciting, especially in a temporal way, because somehow, of course, these dates come after one another, but we don't know how they actually take place in time. So which one is happening when? Is this before or after another encounter? Like, this really remains a question. And I think that created a very exciting temporal space in the film. What was your intention behind that? What was the aim with this temporal setup in the film?
Well, that was no aim.
Okay.
I think that part comes after I wrote my first draft.
Oh, okay.
So in the first draft, he only took on the name. And I want to just portray the moments.
Yeah.
The moments that have impacted me personally. The moments that I feel like it is worthy of putting that into a film. I wrote all these moments out. And then the structure is just a structure to make these moments work better. And how we view this whole story as a cohesive experience. And it's fun, it's exciting when I'm rewriting the script.
Yeah.
To think about structure. And to put all these things, because they are already there. I didn't notice that when I was writing my first draft. But then when I discover all the dots, and then I put them together, it's the most rewarding rewriting process with this project, because most of the time rewriting is just hell.
Yeah, yeah, I can imagine.
So this film, I developed it, and I would say this is the longest development that I have taken for a film. This is my third film.
Yeah.
And it evolved a lot.
Yeah.
And there is some, say, the first encounter with Irfan, it was written after 2 years development.
Yeah.
I met him after I already finished the first draft. So, and I also put new elements into different parts of the story and new development of our world into the story. And for me, the time of which event happens in the story doesn't matter that much, but I know that is important for the audience sometimes, because some audience would think about logic when they think about storylines like this, but for me it's not that important. It's a circular experience for me.
Yeah.
It's everything is connected, not causally connected, but everything.
Yeah.
Everything in the story or in this world is connected, and that comes to the conclusion of the story.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. For sure. If we would think about this movie-going experience when somebody goes and sees this film as an encounter between the film and this person, just like the encounters that we see on screen, and as you very nicely put it, these characters always take something from the other person with them. What do you hope the audience will take with them from this encounter with the film?
I didn't think about that. I really wish the audience would just experience the film in the present.
Yeah, that's very logical.
I don't mind if they don't think about it later.
Okay, yeah.
But I think it's a very present experience with this film. You don't really you don't have to think much about it.
No.
It's just people having sex and talking and having dinner together. And you can, I mean, I already said it before that this is a very niche film because sometimes audience would like to take something to when they go to the cinema.
Yeah.
They want to discover a story, something like that. But this film is just, I wish the audience would come to the theater, not think about anything, and listen to the conversation, and just as how we listen to others, we don't really think about something else when we really focus on listening to each other. That is what this film is.
Yeah, well, let's see how the audience will resonate with it and how they will encounter it. But yeah, definitely a very in presence rooted experience, that's for sure. Thank you so much for being here with us today and taking the time for us. I wish you all the best for the Berlinale. Have a lovely time. Thank you.
Thank you.